from their Muslim clothes to the, to the Western clothes, doing their transformation. And so while they're doing the translation, I saw, some young men flirting with girls and so on this flight. And everybody's supposed to be Muslim on the flight. During that flight, I noticed that there were maybe some senior women on the flight that weren't partaking in this. And here's, the young men and women doing the flirting and doing all this. And then I would think to myself that why is this a senior woman and senior man not partaking in this? And then I would think to myself that they don't have that same beauty, that same energy that these people have. And then one day, these young people, also the young men and the young women, will be in the same position as the seniors. They'll be wearing hijab and they'll be covering properly, and because they won't have that beauty anymore. And the beauty that they have now is only a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see what they'll do with it. So they have the beauty now. When they get old, they'll no longer have the ability to say, I don't want to flirt, I don't want to do these haram things. They don't have it anymore. Right? And so you'll see that the Prophet ﷺ said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس, take advantage of 5 things before 5. And we know the hadith. I took some lyrics of a popular song. And this song, even though the singer is a liar, as the Prophet ﷺ said, صَدَقَ وَهُوَ كَذُوب, that he told the truth even though he's a liar. The song's called Lucky. Some of you might know it. I'm going to read the words to you, and I'm not going to sing it, but I'm just going to read the words to you. And subhanAllah, that even though the kuffar, they even sing about these things, they know, like the words that she's saying are true, but they know the falsehood of the model world, or the falsehood of the things that they're calling to, they themselves. And it says, this is a story about a girl named Lucky. Okay. Early morning, she wakes up, knock, knock, knock on the door. It's time for makeup. And notice, normally it would be time for Fajr. But for her, it's time for makeup, a perfect smile. It's you they're all waiting for. They go, isn't she lovely, this Hollywood girl? And they say, she's so lucky, she's a star. And then the but comes, but she cries in her lonely heart. And subhanAllah, this is the fitrah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts on a person when they try seeking happiness from other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed happiness in. But she cries in her lonely heart, thinking, if there's nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night? And it continues, lost in an image, in a dream, but there's no one there to wake her up. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the Day of Judgment, she will be woken up. And the world is spinning, and she keeps on winning, but tell me what happens when it stops. And of course, nothing's going to happen except hellfire. They go, isn't she lovely, this Hollywood girl? And they say, she's so lucky, she's a star. But she cries in her lonely heart, thinking, if there's nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night? And then a quote, best actress, and the winner is Lucky. And the quote continues, I'm Roger Johnson for Pop News, standing outside the arena waiting for Lucky. Oh my God, here she comes. And when they say this, oh my God, you'll notice that it's a translation of Ya Ilahi, right? Ya Rabbi, oh my God. Here she comes. And continuing, isn't she lucky, this Hollywood girl? She is so lucky, but why does she cry? If there's nothing missing in her life, why do tears come at night? And then the chorus, again, she's so lucky, she's a star, but she cries in her lonely heart, thinking, if there's nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night? And subhanAllah, I noticed these brothers had made a song, and they're good brothers, mashallah, and I'm not saying I'm more commenting on the audience. And their song was called Waiting for the Day of Judgment. And there was a big gathering, and it's a very catchy nasheed called Waiting for the Day of Judgment. And I noticed that, people, they're waving their hands like this, and they're going back and forth, and they're singing Waiting for the Day of Judgment. Waiting for the Day of Judgment, and, with the drum beats, and subhanAllah, the irony of it. In fact, as the companion, radiallahu anhu, said, that music breeds hypocrisy in the heart. It breeds hypocrisy. Because they can say the truth on their tongues, but it goes no deeper than that. Now everyone's looking for happiness and fun, and indeed, you'll see sometimes when they advertise Muslim women in magazines, they put, a picture of a woman in niqab, and on the other side maybe a woman in a bikini, and on the one with the bikini they'll say, she's free, she's having fun, and the woman who's wearing niqab, she's serious, she's the words that they use. But this happiness, and they're always talking about looking for happiness, looking for entertainment. But the question comes up then, where is that happiness and where is that fun? Because you'll notice here, even this girl, Lucky, who's at the top and she has everything, she hasn't found happiness. And we know this with this pop culture, that the end of many of them is suicide. They reach the top and there's nowhere to go, they throw themselves off that top. And they kill themselves because they haven't attained the happiness that they were looking for. And so the question is, does a person want to have happiness in this dunya at the expense of the hereafter? Or does a person want to have happiness in this dunya and in the hereafter? And so this media swarm tells the people that the happiness is the happiness of the dunya. And it's only the dunya. And in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this, وَفَرِحُوا بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And they were pleased and very happy. Farhan. I'm happy. If you're taking Arabic classes, it comes up a lot. Farhan. Farihu is, and they're pleased and happy with the hayat, with the hayat al-dunya. But is this happiness a true happiness? And the Prophet ﷺ, he gave us a glimpse of how someone gets, or becomes a delusion, this happiness, where on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the person who had the most fun and happiness of this dunya. Takes that person who had all the riches, all the wealth, and all the villas, and had everything, and then takes that person and dips him into hellfire for a second. Dips him into hellfire for a second, then he's brought back. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to him, هَلْ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا قَطْ. He said, have you ever seen any kind of happiness in your life? And now this is the person who attained or had the most happiness in this dunya. And he said, La ya Rabbi, never, my Lord, have I ever seen any happiness because of that moment in hellfire. And so no matter what happens in the dunya, even if a person lives, one of the most trying lives, the poorest lives, still it will be nothing in comparison to that dip into hellfire, and nothing in comparison, of course, to a moment of Jannah. As the Prophet ﷺ said, that person who had the hardest life, he'll be taken on the Day of Judgment, dipped into Jannah for a moment, and then it will be said to him, have you ever seen any sadness in your life? And he'll say, La ya Rabbi, I've never seen any sadness in my life, because of that moment to be able to experience Jannah. And then, but the misunderstanding happens. Some people think, well, if you're going to have fun in the hereafter, it has to be at the expense of the dunya. This is what the common notion is, that if you want to be serious about Islam or so on, you can't have fun. You just have to be serious, which is also incorrect. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون. That in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى, whoever does salih, works righteousness, and this is being a good Muslim, من ذكر أو أنثى, whether they're male or female, it doesn't matter, whichever gender they are, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِن, that it doesn't matter if they're male and female, but the main thing is that they're mu'min. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا, that we will give a good life in this in the commentary, in this world, in this dunya, with respect, contentment, and lawful provision, and we shall pay them certainly a reward in proportion to the best of the things that they used to do. And actually this brings to mind, you'll see in Hajj time, if you've gone for Hajj, and you can see the people have the greatest ni'mah in Hajj. They have hotel rooms in Mina, while the whole world's in tents. They have a hotel room, and the food is brought to them. Everybody has their own sheep, that they're eating or sharing an entire sheep with two people. They have all